welcome everybody once again to the Tattoo Sisterhood Revolution virtual interview series. I'm your host, Shelley Dax, and our guest speaker today is world-renowned tattooer Ivana Belakova. But before we start our talk with Ivana, for those who are new on the Telesummit today, in this free event, I'm providing a safe space for people of diversity to discuss their experiences. We'll be talking about how their careers started, what kinds of obstacles they've faced, and encouraging them to give us their best advice. I, along with this unique panel of artists, hope to give encouragement and just to help you guys start your careers as well. And just a reminder, each morning we'll send you an email link to the interviews of the day, so watch out for those. And with that, let me tell you a little bit about our guest today. Ivana Tattoo Art is known worldwide for her unique brand of creativity. Ivana is a self-taught artist who has been perfecting her style for the last 18 years. She's won multiple awards and has participated in some of the most prestigious international tattoo shows in the industry. The Macro Museum in Rome announced the recognition of Ivana Belakova's tattoo art as contemporary fine art, becoming the first and only woman in the world to be recognized as a contemporary artist for her funky color and illustrative street style of tattooing. Her work's been displayed in various exhibitions, and she's collaborated with several art schools internationally. She's also a gifted illustrator, clothing designer, and photographer. So if you haven't seen her art for yourself yet, you're in for a colorful treat. Welcome, Ivana. So thrilled to speak with you today.
Hello everybody. Thank you for having me.
And where are you located?
At the moment, I'm in Long Beach, California.
Oh, okay. I was just in Long Beach last year. So well, just tell us a little bit about where you're from and what made you decide to move to the US.
Originally, I'm from Slovakia. It's a little country exactly in the middle of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
For the past about 20 years, I'm traveling all over the world. So it's just kind of happened that I stopped in Los Angeles. I was having lots of stopovers here and I came for the guest spot and I got opportunity to work in the studio. So I was thinking, okay, that might be good opportunity for me to kind of experience United States. I can get my green card and just live here for some time. So this is how I end up here in Long Beach.
Right. How long have you been there?
About 10 years on and off, but 2012, mm-hmm. I moved here permanently.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I think I read somewhere in one of your articles or something that you had thought about moving to the US even from when you were a child.
Yes, that's completely right. So when I was little, I didn't even know much about countries because I grew up in communism, but for some reason, you know, like from the TV, like when we watch some American movie and I keep seeing all of these characters, I was kind of like, oh, one day I will be in Hollywood, I will living in Los Angeles, and I'm going to be an artist. It's completely right. I always felt like an artist. Like I never knew besides art what I can do in life, but of course, not in particular tattooing. That wouldn't even occur me until much later.
Yeah, well, that's really, really interesting. So tell me what sparked your interest in tattooing then?
Yeah, so when I was little, it was kind of just that energy, you know, like I always felt like an artist and I saw myself in the United States and I was like, oh yeah, like I will be artist. And when I was a little bit older, people were laughing at me because they are like, oh, like it's almost impossible because it's communism, so it's impossible to travel overseas, you know?
Yeah.
We were allowed to go to like 2 countries, that was Russia and Croatia, and that was it, like that's all. So anyway, I was always kind of having this in my head. And how I became tattooist, it literally came to me. I used to study business and finances in a school, mm-hmm. and used to do graffiti. Like I said, I was always artistic. I was drawing when we were having classes, always listening, but always drawing. So everybody knew that about me. Teachers just let me be. Otherwise, I can, you know, still. And one of my mom's friends, when I was finishing school, she was like, would you like to try like how to do the tattoos? And I was like, sure. But I was always attracted to, you know, arts in general. It was for me fashion. I used to cut out pictures from the fashion magazines, and then Jean-Paul Gaultier, he used to have these tattooed models. That time actually he was between the first guys who were kind of advertising it, you know? So all of that culture, all of that tattooing and how it was coming to the fashion. So it was very attractive to me, and I think that's how started my love for tattooing. It was just that artistic expression, the individuality, and how people how people portray themselves. So anyway, my friend, she asked me and she got me some tattoo machine. And I was like, okay, sure, I will try it. So right when I finished school, I was tattooing my friend, and I was like, okay, that's it. That's exactly what I'm doing. So literally the first second when the needle touched the skin, right there, and then I knew exactly.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting. So
Love it.
once you decided that, though, how did you get information on how you would get trained, or did you have a mentor or somebody? Did you apprentice?
Oh no, so this was very difficult. So firstly, I was literally tattooing my friends. The first tattoo I did, let's say, so it was about, I would say 1.5 inch or 1 inch big tattoo. It took me about 2 hours. Now it would take me literally maybe like 10 minutes. I was very precise because I didn't know exactly what I'm doing. I didn't know how deep I can go into the skin. So after that experience, I also didn't know how to take care of the tattoo. So right after, I was so excited. I'm like, let's celebrate. So we went to the whirlpool and champagne and everything. And my friend's tattoo fell off, like literally got it infected, and it literally fell off after 1 week. And all it left was just kind of like a little red scar. So it looks more like a branding more than anything. So interesting. But so I literally learned from my mistakes. I didn't know that I have to change the needles, for example. I didn't know that there is more than, let's say, just a single needle. So my friend got me basic kit from Canada, the first tattoo machine what I was talking about, but it wasn't a machine particular for tattoos, for body work. It was machine for permanent cosmetics. So you still could do, like a little bit of kind of like ornamental things or that kind of tattoos, just something super small, but it's not really machine for shading or anything. So that
Yeah.
learned a little bit the hard way. I couldn't get any material in Slovakia, in my country that time. I'm tattooing now over 20 years. So when somebody went to, let's say, Germany, I was always like, please bring me the magazine from Germany. So I was kind of like seeing all of these pictures, like how real tattoo machine looks like, or, like a lot of practice on my brother. Now I have to do all of the cover-ups, practice on all of my friends. I didn't use any gloves. Like really, it was completely punk, but I didn't know any better.
Right. And so what kind of obstacles did you face when you first started out then? And where were you when you first started actually tattooing?
So the first, when I started tattooing, it was in Slovakia. And the biggest obstacle since the beginning was to get in the right tools when it comes to even equipment, tattoo equipment. And secondly, I really didn't have anybody to share the knowledge with me. That time in the country were about 2 tattoo studios, but nobody really want to like help you out. Everything was almost like a sacred. And if somebody was tattooed and I asked like, oh, like how is this shading done? Because I didn't know anything besides single needle. I couldn't understand like how they can have such a large amount of colors on the body. And they just kind of went around it, but nobody told me like there is actually magnum needles and it's like a brushes, So
Right.
it was like I don't understand why it was like so secretive, because it was kind of like tied that time in my country still probably with the bikers or prisoners, but that's a little bit different. It was more tied to bikers, I would say.
Wow.
In
So
the,
it
in
was
the
really
area
similar to the
where
United States then, yeah?
yes, very similar probably. So like I said, 2 tattoo shops probably in the whole country. That's it, and it wasn't.
Wow.
Mm.
Well, so describe to me what your style is now that you've been tattooing for 20 years.
I think my style is everything. My style is I call it literally, I call it funky color or organized mess. That's exactly what it is, because I was so influenced by so many countries. I'm traveling for the past 20 years all over the world, and I was living in multiple places, multiple countries and continents. So I think all of this kind of mix of all of the styles, all of the cultures, and then naturally I'm street culture, graffiti, let's say illustrations, design, that's very attractive to me. That's probably the closest to my nature, what I like. So I think I'm kind of mixing all of these street elements, realism, cartoon, illustration, all of these I kind of like mix together. That's why I call it organized mess, but for some reason it's pleasant to look at, like I don't feel like, because there is very fine line how to overdo design, but for me it's all about aesthetic balance, that's all.
Yeah. So how did you when you first came to the US, were there people that were supportive of you and that were also wanting you to be a part of what they were doing or train you or help you out?
Yes, when I came to US, after Slovakia, I was tattooing there for about 1 year. I left to Australia. So Australia, still I didn't learn too much. It was still kind of figuring it out. But I started to go for tattoo conventions, and that really helped me out. And funny enough, actually, after about 6 years of my career, I think I was tattooing already about 5 or 6 years, still with a single needle. Then okay, single needle, and then I actually added 14 rounds. So that was my 2 needles I was using for all of my tattooing, for shading and line work. And I become so good in that shading that I could really do like even larger color, and it was super solid because I think I didn't know any better. So you just kind of like master whatever you becoming better at it. But I met Joe Capobianco in Melbourne, tattoo convention in Sydney. And I was just fascinated because I also like that kind of style, that time, the cartoony style and what.
I think that you said Joe Capobianco. Is that
Yes,
the name? Yeah.
Yes, he's from United States. So he was at the tattoo convention, and Americans are very different to Australians, in my opinion. Like Americans are more friendly, more talkative. It's just a little bit different, different nature. And he was really sweet. Like I was nobody, and I just came to him and watching him a little bit. And I'm like, do you mind if I watch you? He's like, no. And then I'm like, excuse me, how do you do this? He actually saw one of my clients, and he has a big clown on his leg. And that was, like I said, one liner and 14 round. He's like, that's really beautiful. And he's like, how many hours did you do that tattoo for? And I was like, 14. He's like, huh? Have a magnum, you would knock out that tattoo, I think maybe in 4 or 5 hours, that's all. 4 hours, I think, tops. But, and it's like, how did you do that? And I'm like, with the 14 round, like all that color. But even that time already, my work was starting to be super colorful,
Mm-hmm.
We
Wow.
were kind of a little bit chat. And I asked him, how do you do it so quick? And he's like, oh, because you have to use magnums for color. Like, you cannot really do it with the round needles because it takes so long. So he was really sweet, and I never forget that, because he was one of the first people who like helped me out. Like, you have to do it with the magnums, and he let me to watch him at the conventions, and from there I was hooked up completely.
Yeah,
I was buying
that's
from United.
really, really cool that he like enlightened you about the mags.
Yeah, we're still friends until now.
Oh, good. Well,
Yeah.
what have you noticed about women and minorities getting into the tattoo industry? I assume since you live here now that you've heard stories from other people, you've seen a lot of people, you've met a lot of people. So what do you notice about that?
You know what is a little bit different now, to be honest, because I think the younger generation, it's already like changing, and people have a better tools, more access to information. And it also depends where is it, like, of course, if you go to like, not of course, but some shops are very nice and professional and then help you out, they teach you everything, and they really treat you with respect and everything. But there is also, I heard from some, some small shops, it's kind of like, they use you and you have to like clean up the shop and everything. And in my opinion, it has nothing supposed to do with tattooing, like if I have few people teaching, and my thing is two things. So teach theory, of course, but you need to practice. That's all. Like, just stay focused on tattooing. That's the only way I think how you will improve.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
what I
I'm
was going.
really,
I was going to
I don't
ask
have,
you why you like to, what makes you want to teach? Because I know that you have some videos online, and
yes.
you're talking about what you're doing. And so, yeah, what makes you want to teach?
I think it's multiple reasons, but my main reasons, it is because I want to pass my knowledge to younger generation, or anybody who wants to teach. And it's just because I know how hard is it for me, and I know how much faster people, if you have a proper information or access to information, how much faster is it for you to become better tattooist or excellent tattooist. You just need the correct mentor, that's all, And for me, it really makes me, I think it's my purpose kind of, and I really just enjoy to give this information to people and inspire them. So this would be my primary two reasons: inspire people and give them this knowledge, because I know how it was for me.
Yeah.
And
Do you actually have apprentices in your shop, or is it all online what you're doing?
No, I'm actually teaching seminars. I'm teaching seminars in person. I'm preparing. I don't have anything digitally yet in this sense. Everybody can watch my YouTube. As of now, my YouTube is Ivana Tattoo Art, and I'm posting videos almost every 2 or 3 days. Anything, but you can kind of see like how I do the shading, how I do the line work, and there is more to come. So I will explain since the scratch like how I'm pretty much creating my tattoos. In person, of course, is a little bit better.
Sure.
But
yeah, and are you, I mean, you're in California, so are you not tattooing currently?
No, but I have lots of private clients. So, technically speaking, I am tattooing often, not in the studio.
Right. And do you actually have apprentices in your studio?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. And so when you talk about seminars, are those going to be like at conventions and that kind of thing?
Yes, when I was going for conventions, I was teaching seminars there or a few different countries. Sometimes even when I'm traveling, some shops they invited me to teach. So then we organize people and I teach this way. So it can be anyway, I don't have to necessarily go to like tattoo conventions. Like I said, if I have enough students, then I will just fly somewhere and I'm teaching.
Yeah. And so can you describe your journey to becoming more well-known? Like how did you promote yourself and increase your following and all of that?
So the journey was literally, I have a passion for what I do. Like for me, it's hobby. So when I was younger, I was tattooing constantly. I was tattooing maybe 16 hours a day. Sometimes I don't even want to sleep because I just want to tattooing, but it was only because of my personal feeling. I wanted to improve. I wanted to discover. I wanted to, expand like in any kind of angle. When you look at it, I was obsessed with tattooing, but in the good. It was literally for my own growth. So the more I was experimenting, the more I was creating my sort of designs, what I enjoy. That's how I started to build my portfolio. And based on that, I attracted specific clientele, which I wanted to have, like for the colors, for more kind of open-minded people, for all of this contemporary kind of style. Because, my style is like I said, it's a mix of everything and not necessarily everybody likes it. You have to that sort of personality to like my style.
That's true. So
True.
how did you, I mean, I noticed that you have a really brilliant, beautiful website. You have a great presence on Instagram. Did that just come over time? Did you learn how to do that yourself or did somebody help you?
No, I'm still learning. Literally, I'm doing all of my social media myself. Now I'm building my YouTube, which is getting very good. Instagram, of course, working on Instagram, Facebook. It's kind of like naturally because obviously I'm traveling all around the world. So I need to make sure I have kind of fans from all over the world. And this become also by going for the tattoo conventions, or let's say when I was building my Instagram, of course, sometimes you have to pay some advertisements for certain tattoo, or maybe if I'm looking for, if I go to certain city, then I will target that city. So this comes to building my social media. And also very important, which I can recommend to everybody, is collaborate. Because for me, it's art in general, or in any kind of like what you do in life, I really believe strongly in collaboration. And collaboration happens when, or the most successful collaborations are, in my opinion, when you have somebody even more successful than you are, or at least the same level. So you can kind of like multiply that,
Yeah, wow, that's really interesting, especially for the audience, because you know that it's mostly newcomers and people who are hoping to get into the industry.
Yes.
So it's really nice to hear about collaboration, because sometimes in this industry, it can be a little bit challenging to get people to work with you.
I think literally collaboration is the key. So that's why, like I said, I would recommend that to everybody. Like, I don't understand how lots of artists is like that. Like, oh, they are so protective of their work. Like, oh my God, so protective. Come on, you create this work because you want to show it to the world. Otherwise, why are you doing it? So you want to influence by your art. You want to touch somebody by your art. So this is a little bit contradictory for me. So I really believe in collaborations. I think it's beautiful if, two good artists, or even if somebody is not super good, but it's always nice to collaborate with somebody better than you and create something amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think what do you think unique skills that you have that's helped you become as successful as you are?
Focus. Focus, hard work. No, really, people are going out Friday, Saturday drinking, and I'm staying at home and I'm building up my, my clientele, like my website. I'm posting pictures. I'm doing something for branching out of tattooing, but everything is kind of like tied together. It's all of that behind the scenes. So it's literally second job. I can be tattooing the whole day, but then I come home and another 6 hours I'm working on the online, on my
Wow,
other
you're
stuff.
doing that currently? You're doing that now, even after 20 years of tattooing?
Absolutely, because it's, in my opinion, it's easier to kind of get to the top, but then stay there. So that is challenge because you need to work harder than before, in my opinion, just to stay there, strive for better. And in my opinion, like I am trailblazer, so that's the trend. That's kind of like trend I set for myself. So I'm just want to keep it up. I don't want to be average. I want to be really example. So like I said, it's a little bit harder, and I always want to be kind of like a 2 steps ahead. But I'm not doing it because I want to show off or for anything else. I'm doing it because I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I always kind of looking for, open other people's minds more when it comes to tattooing, or just spread more love, literally.
I heard you say in one of your videos something about it's all about love.
Yes, absolutely. It's the highest vibration. I really love it because if people think love, act from love, I think the world would be a better place, but it always comes to that, really.
And don't you have a book too, or 2 books?
2 books. So the first book I released 2012. The name is Narcissistic Rockstar. I will tell you, literally, it's supposed to be kind of like satiric name, because I was shy. I really was very shy. And so for me, it was funny how people always think like I party and I'm kind of like this narcissistic, like show off or whatever. But I was actually very shy, So that was kind of just fun. My friends know, who knows me, then I don't have to explain myself. So that was just for fun. And the second book, so the first book contains, of course, mix of my work, some of my drawing. I used to draw much more than now. Now I don't draw at all of my work. So it's kind of combination of that. It's just kind of like a fun stuff there. And the second, 2012, you can see huge progress between my work then and now. It's absolutely almost uncomparable in my opinion, but it's beautiful for some art collectors or maybe people who follow my work to see this kind of difference, like where it was 12 years ago, 10 years ago, 8 years ago compared to now. So this newest book name is Just Love, Tattoos and Sushi. And in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful projects I ever did.
Wow. Really, now, can you get that on Amazon, or is it just available on your website, or what?
I can put it on Amazon, but I didn't. It's available on my website.
On your website?
Yes, on my website it's available, or everybody can just, text me about it. Yes. This book I'm very proud of. It's a combination of my best works. There is some prints, there is some text. I'm also like talking a little bit, and there is some text also about me, so people can know me a little bit better. And it's also, there is some sort of like a graphic designs combined with tattoo, so it's really nice. It's fun. It's a beautiful coffee table book.
That is incredible. Awesome. Thank you for telling us about that. Tell me a little bit about how travel has affected your career and your popularity.
Tremendously. I recommend this is another tool what artists can use to travel. Travel for, like I said before, to know different cultures, to travel to work maybe in different studios, travel to work with different artists, travel to go for tattoo conventions, to work there, or maybe just to go there to see. But all of this kind of experience, like literally, like I was like a sponge. So all of this goes to me, and it's also important to meet other people. This way also you can learn more, or again, like you can get to places, I think I'm sort of person, I'm always looking for opportunities. Not that I am opportunities, but if I'm sitting just at home and I don't go anywhere, I don't expect that somebody comes to me. I'm sort of person, I will go out there and I will look for it, Yeah. So I think this is very important for people in any kind of business, by the way, not just tattooing.
Yeah. So, you talked about collaboration. So what is your approach to like networking with other people then? Is that getting out there and just reaching out and talking to people and not being afraid?
Yes, absolutely. But don't be ever afraid of anything, because the worst can happen. They say no, but that's nothing. That cannot hurt your feelings,
Yeah. Have you had any experiences in your, tattooing career where you felt like people were bullying or trying to intimidate you or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. And especially when I was in Australia. Australia was like the right example. When I was a little bit older here in US, no, I really have a nice experiences, but Australia was definitely. But, it was more like I was already established artist, and my boss was treating me like, literally, I have lots of examples. I'm still very grateful for him. Don't get me wrong. So I don't want to like spread anything.
Sure.
He was the one to give me a chance to work in the studio when I didn't speak English. I left literally from Slovakia after 1 year. So I was, let's say, I was like 18, 19 to Australia. I didn't have money. I didn't know any English or anything, but I just had really big dream, So nobody wanted to give me work. And he was the only one. He's like, okay, you know what? Like, learn English, come back here in 2 months. I came back in 2 weeks because I'm like, I'm not going to wait for 2 months. So I was tattooing my friend. So like I said, I couldn't speak. So I'm like, okay, I will show you how I tattoo and decide if you want to take me or not. And then he took me, of course. So that was nice. But the way, like sometimes I was treated like I was in the middle of session with my client and he said, go buy me Coke. And I'm like, excuse me, like I'm here with the client. But I was literally, so I had to stand up and go to buy him Coke. But it's not nice even for my client. Like for me, it's ridiculous. I cannot imagine this kind of treatment for anybody, really. But
it happens all the time. It happens so much in the U.S., all over the world, apparently, because I've talked to a lot of really awesome people, but they've talked about this problem. Yeah.
Really. So this is kind of treatment, or I had to clean the shop all the time. I was literally like maid. I had to do shopping. I have to do this. I have to do that. Like I was doing everything, so there wasn't enough respect for me as an artist in general. I'm not even talking about me being like gay female,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah.
Like, of course I was going through it, but I think I'm strong enough, or I was strong enough, definitely, to kind of just go over it, because in my head I had bigger plan, and for me this is nothing,
So how do you think the tattoo industry needs to change then?
Tattoo industry, especially, like I said, like it varies, maybe from from different states, from different countries, but it has to be just better quality. It should be all about the art. That's all, So I think because of the choice now, people should look for, I don't know, I don't care where you live or whatever, but you have to just look for some better mentor, somebody who has some sort of reputation, somebody who is not really this kind of like a bully, you know what I mean? And I think you can do your search, because there is so much choice now, so much choice. It's very different compared to like literally 20 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. I had one of my other speakers say something like, no one owns tattooing, no one owns it, although some people act like they do, but because it's been around for thousands of years, and it's the indigenous people that, were the ones who started it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
But very important tattoo is, I always believe in power of mind. And it will be really amazing, I think, to start with some tools. Like on my seminar, for some reason, I'm teaching color and teaching tattooing, but everything comes from within. So most of the time, it's a little bit, when I'm teaching, it's also about psychology, But psychology, not even about psychology in that sense, but it's more about you. It's about connection, how connected you are, how clear you are, how aware you are. Like for me, I have a little bit different approach, and many times from 2-hour seminar is 6, because we're talking about this kind of stuff, It's really important, because, if you know who you are and you know your value and you have self-worth and you love yourself, you would never allow anybody to treat you like that. Anybody.
That is a really, really good thing for people to hear, because unfortunately, a lot of times they feel like they have to allow it because it's the only way they can get trained. But, you've proved different. A lot of other people have proved different too.
But I understand, because I've been there, I also had to listen, and I kind of I didn't know any better. And I didn't, I was kind of feeling like I was studying that time and I needed money. So I was like, okay, I listen everything what my boss told me, but it's not correct, So it will be nice. I don't have any tools. So it will be nice for people to kind of get the tools first, and then not let anybody to treat them like that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think I would like to take one of your seminars as well.
Oh, you would love to, trust me.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I mean, I started watching some of your YouTube videos, and they're actually very informative too. So I would recommend the audience go over there and take a look at what she's got on YouTube, because there's plenty of stuff to look at.
I have nothing to hide, but mostly these days I'm doing every Wednesday for Slovakia, for my country. So Czech and Slovakia, there is a huge fan base and huge interest. Especially I'm teaching about these tools. I'm not even talking about tattooing. So we have just discussions about this, but I want to start to do it in English too, because this is good. I will. Just a little bit of kind of doing this Facebook lives and stuff, but on seminar, I'm teaching that.
Nice. Good. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What would you like to like, if what would you say to the newcomers right now? What would you want to say to them?
For everybody who's starting tattooing, I think you need to be surrounded by the best people, and you find a way. Like, I had a dream, like I wanted to work with Jeff Gogwell, let's say. I was working with Gogwell. I wanted to work with Boris. I work with Boris. Everybody who I want to work with, I am, because I want to work with the best. Very important, So for the newcomers, I would firstly choose the mentor. Who do you want to be trained, by who do you want to be trained? That would be my approach number one. I even wanted to fly at some point to Russia. I remember I was living in Australia because I wanted to learn from the best. Because that time what the guys were doing all of this black and gray or realistic stuff. I used to do lots of black tattoos before. So I was like, I do not care. I will do whatever it takes. So my thing would be to find the best mentor possible first. And then to just focus on it, because there is so many distractions. And, you need to know, why are you doing it? And also, what do you want to achieve with this? I think it's also important to kind of know that. So you will have a different approach to work. Your work ethic will be different. You will treat your clients differently. It's very important.
And why do you say that it's a hobby for you?
Because it is. Because I cannot explain it. Like, I would even do tattooing for free. I don't care. I just love it so much. So a hobby, it's like, I'm so passionate about it. So when I said it's hobby for me, I can do it any time of the day. I don't care what day is it or for who is it. I just want to create art. And literally, if I'm not doing it for money, I would be still doing it.
I love that. That is so cool. I feel that way too. But I mean, I don't know how old you are, but sometimes my body rejects that idea when I want to sit there for hours and hours on end,
I understand. But I'm definitely more mindful of that now because I'm 40. So I'm talking about when I was 20, 30, and maybe even I'll count down a little bit. I'm taking care of my body probably I would say about 2 years, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But I think it's like you said, like the older we become, like my focus got a little bit shorter, but it's more like, I would say mentally, it's a little bit harder for me to focus mentally than physically. Physically, luckily, I'm 100%.
Great. Wow. That's nice. So how do your clients come to you?
The clients book me online. So everything what I have is online. I used to do before consultations in person, but I don't do that anytime. It's unnecessary for me. So what I require is literally 2 words. Like, just tell me 2 words what you want. Like, okay, flower, what kind of flower? Rose. Perfect. That's really what, because I am, when it comes to my work, I require artistic freedom. And I say that to everybody before you book me. So this is going to be the deal, You just have to leave it up to me. If you choose me as an artist, then I want to have artistic freedom to create whatever I want.
At what stage in your career were you able to switch to that policy?
Okay, so this literally I established, especially, I would say past 4 years I am like this, or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was tattooing, let's say 15 years already. But before, it was a little bit different. I could establish it probably straight away, but I didn't have a tools. I didn't know any better. I was thinking maybe if I'm like really so stern, like people maybe don't book me or something. It was just a little bit like fear, I would say. But then I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, this is what I enjoy. This is what I wanted to do. And that's how it's going to be, So
yes,
that's all.
yes, I do. And I'm fortunate enough to be at that point in my career too. But I know that when you first start out, sometimes depending on where you have to work and what you have to what hoops you have to jump through, you may have to do things you don't want to do in the beginning. Yeah. That's what, we were always told. But then now you're saying, if you have the right tools, you have the right mentor, you have the right space, maybe you don't necessarily have to do that even from the beginning.
Yes. If you did, nothing is wrong with that, really. I am so versatile. I can still do black tattoos. I can do this kind of tattoos, that kind of tattoos. I do not care. I'm very versatile. But of course, I enjoy the most my style because it comes naturally to me. And then I think, before you ask me, like, what I think is also like exceptional or what makes me artist like that. So besides traveling, it's also, I think, that kind of little bit extra is because I can read energy of people, So when somebody comes to me, I see color. I see it. So in that sense, and it comes naturally within 1 second, I pick it up. So I know exactly let's say, how the tattoo on the body is going to look like, what kind of colors I'm going to use or not colors. I had few clients which came to me with color, and I just don't want to do that color because I don't see it on them. So I decided,
just talk just a tiny bit more about what you mean about, you see the energy. It's like intuition or something when you meet them or when you talk to them.
We have time, by the way, so don't rush, please. Okay.
What did you say?
We have time. You don't need to, if you know, like.
Oh, okay. I was trying to get us in under 45 minutes, but if you're fine, we can keep going a little bit. Yeah.
No, I cleared my schedule, so don't worry. I have time.
Yay.
I don't want to rush either. Yes, because this is nice opportunity, you know, for people. So, what is it? I don't know what is it, whether it's intuition or something, but I see it. That's what I mean. Like if I see you, I will see color, and that color I will apply into my tattoo. And then literally, like sometimes people don't even know what is their color or how do they feel, and I can see doing tattoo. Okay, and I said, this is the color, exactly what I say, this is you. And then I finished tattoo, it's like, oh my God, this is exactly color I like, or oh my God. Or even like I said, when I decide not to do color tattoos, and they love it after, you know?
Yeah, so that's incredible. Wow, I love that.
Yes, I think it comes to me naturally, really. I don't know how is this possible. Like I don't think about it, I don't plan for it, I just see you and I know straight away. And I also can pick up straight away on your personality. So let's say some clients are more conservative, some clients are more crazy, and I know exactly how crazy I can go with my tattooing, like more contemporary, more kind of loose, or should it be more structured? And I'm basing this literally on their energy.
Wow, I love that. I've actually talked to several people who have used the words intuitive tattooing, and that's something I really hadn't heard much of, but that sounds like something new that we're kind of tapping into that that's really neat to connect with people that way. Yeah.
We can look at it that way too. Yes.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way about my work too. And I'm fortunate now that I do get to work with people that I like so much more. And, just because I have more freedom. And like you said, I love that because it comes naturally to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like imagine if for some reason, somebody tried to tell me what to do, my brain blocks and I'm done. I cannot do tattoo.
Yeah,
really
makes sense.
It is not even that I'm stubborn or kind of like, but I cannot because it's kind of like you already killed that kind of open channel I had. So it's like, like don't say anything. Just leave me to do my stuff. But of course, like I consult with my client or I tell you like, this is how I want to do it. This is, what is suitable. So, and I operate the best product ever I created was always when I have open-minded clients like that.
Oh my gosh, I totally agree with that for sure. If people give you the freedom and they trust you and they know, I mean, that's pretty much what a painter's doing or anybody else. No one's interrupting them. And it's been different in the tattoo world, but now this is starting to be a really interesting new concept.
How many years do you tattoo?
About 14.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that's a long time too.
Yeah.
But it's
I actually do so many other things too, and I'm writing and other things as well. So I'm not like always tattooing all the time, especially now, because I'll tell you, I'm 55 years old. So
that's wonderful, though.
Yeah. So I started when I was older too.
Yeah, I was just very lucky. Like I had no idea, like I didn't really enjoy what I was studying. I studied, but it's like I cannot imagine myself to be in the office. Never did. Like I was always an artist. So tattooing just came to me and I was like, that's it, love at the first sight.
Yeah. And did you went to college? I mean, you went to university or something? What?
Yes, I was studying finances.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something else completely different,
You've taken a different path for sure.
I love life. It's always like so interesting,
I know. I love that. I mean, you definitely get that feel when you're looking at your Instagram and your YouTube and everything that you just feel like, wow, I'm really blessed.
Yes, I am. And I'm really grateful for it every day. I wake up in the morning and I start smile. Straight away, I'm so happy because, I have new day. Million people every day don't wake up. When I have new day, I wake up and I still have my eyes closed and I'm thinking literally how grateful I am. And then it starts kicking in, like the energy starts kicking in because I'm so happy because I'm like, oh my God, like I have one more day here. I can create something and I'm one step closer to my goal. I always say that to myself, always. And then I'm grateful because I always say like, God is for me not like a person or anything. I'm not a religious person, but I think I'm a spiritual person. So God for me, everything. It's everything what is around me. Like the whole creation for me is God, So I always perceive it this way. Like I'm just happy and grateful.
Yeah, I love that idea. Something that I started doing too, the same thing was just even while I'm still in bed, while my eyes are still closed, the minute that I'm
Yep.
conscious, I
Mm-hmm.
start saying thank you, thank you, thank you for this day.
Very yes, and start to think about nice things. My thing is also like I'm like today I will receive great news. Great news what makes me jump. This is my saying. It's kind of like a mantra almost, but I have it naturally. Like it's just I keep playing with my mind, but it's literally it's silly. It's like a little child. I'm playing with my mind. Today I receive great news. What makes me jump and all of this, all of that. So then I start smiling, and then I start create some situations. Like I will get this message from somebody, and it's completely like crazy, like something I want in life, but it works, and it puts me in the good. It puts me in the good vibration because it makes me smile, and straight away I start to create nice positive scenarios, creating that kind of energy. So of course that's how I carry on my day.
Well, I'm sure that's probably what a lot of people see in you as well, in your spirit and in your persona. They see that lightness that makes them want to come and get tattooed by you.
Yes, and lots of clients. I don't know, like how is it when you're tattooing somebody, they kind of like, I think because of the pain and the vulnerability they have, they like tell you all of these stories and all of these. Like my clients leave me tips and they always say therapy. Like I have literally 95% of my clients, they pay me extra therapy.
Tattoo therapy, yes, definitely.
It's not necessarily that we talk about some heavy stuff. Sometimes it's literally they just want to like know my mindset. That's it. They're like, you are always so positive, you are always so happy. I'm like, yes, because you know what, my only measurement in life is that. The only measurement. Everybody's gonna die, so why you take everything so seriously?
That is absolutely true, right?
You have a different perspective on life, and you look at things like this, the little things doesn't bother you. Like it's nothing really is happening. Everybody's gonna die. Somebody's going to lie to you, cheat on you, do this, do that. Somebody like, okay, go ahead, that's up to him, that's not your karma. So just leave it, it's okay. Like everybody's gonna die. You have to have a completely different perspective.
That's really good advice for people, especially starting out too. Like you said, if there's a way that you can identify what your own values are and stick to that and not let people make you compromise them, that's hugely important.
You cannot compromise, and firstly you have to be true to yourself. Very, very important. And inside you always have the answers. Do you want to be treated like shit or you don't? But inside the answer, so you don't even have to think about it too much, but stick to it. So you have to be true to themselves in everything about who you are, what you do. Love yourself enough exactly to really know your worth.
And so who do you turn to when you feel stuck?
You know what I think I need sometimes? Like I need just stay quiet, like stillness. I really don't have like person or somebody to turn to, but I just need to be quiet. It is literally just kind of something's okay. If something, let's say, happen, or sometimes I feel a little bit down or whatever, I have to dig inside myself and look for the answer. Why do I feel this way? Like I'm giving myself questions constantly. Why do I feel this way? What I can do to improve this? How can I change my state, my psychological state or whatever? So I think it's just work I do on myself. And it's of course like, okay, I'm in the beautiful relationship, so my partners, we are also very mind like that. So I do have that ability to talk about anything and everything, so of course already helps. But when it comes to literal like things, I always have to dig in myself. I
Yeah,
don't
that's really neat. There's a quote, and I can't remember who
you
said
just
it,
have
but
to
it's
you just have
something like all man's problems stem from not being able to sit in a room alone quietly, or something
oh,
along those lines, and that's what you're talking about, is taking the time to just be silent and with
yes,
yourself.
people are already distracted. Like I have ADD, I'm super, like I cannot even sit still, and through my mind goes million thoughts.
And
But
you're
then
a fast talker too.
yes, and I'm actually watching myself now because I know I speak very fast, so I have to be mindful if I have interviews to speak a little bit slower. Otherwise, you wouldn't understand me, trust me. So I'm like, I'm on breaks a little bit. Yeah, it's just like literally I just need to be still.
Yes. So, hey, last question. Why don't I ask you, what have I not asked you that I should have known enough to ask you?
What you should know.
Enough to ask you, yes.
I don't know. I can just like share maybe things I didn't say yet, maybe for the future, what I'm planning to do. So
that would be great. Yeah. What are you curious about right now? What's inspiring you for the things you have coming up?
I want to move to Miami, so that will be change. Just again, different city, completely brain, create new relationships. So that probably gives me some artistic inspiration. And besides tattooing, I'm having my clothing line. I'm not sure whether people know about it. So just like a different streams, So don't necessarily.
I love that.
Yes, when I'm not tattooing, I'm creating apparel, I'm creating clothing, merchandise, this kind of stuff.
Nice, being creative in all kinds of different ways. And you were a photographer too, right?
Yes, but I already don't take photos too much. I'm you know what is well for me, of course, because I'm doing all different projects, but also with these new iPhones, I'm like, my camera is so heavy. It's like 20 pounds to carry around if I used to take a photos, because I have all different lenses. So it's kind of, it's just so much easier just to do everything with the iPhone now.
Oh, thank you. That's actually a good a tip for listeners too, because a lot of people think that they need a fancy camera, but really the phones are so good these days and they take such nice photos.
Yes, phones are amazing. You can create videos, everything, even the YouTube videos you see I'm creating on my iPhone.
Oh, I love it.
There is no, you can do, if you want something, just do it. Don't even wait for anything. Just do your best you can in your ability, and that's it. Just, I used to be, not that I used to be, I'm still am perfectionist, but I also needed to train my mind to be kind of like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just release it. Otherwise it's 2 years later, just because I'm perfectionist,
So I love that. Yeah, I have a business coach who said to me something along the lines of, don't wait for things to be perfect, just get it out there.
Yes, and this is exactly what I learned, or what I'm still learning past 2 years, because I have so many things, so many things coming, and sometimes I'm just not releasing it because it's not ready yet, like I said, because it's not perfect yet. So now, no, I'm just putting it out there as it is, raw. I don't care. It needs,
Yes, fantastic. I'm so glad that we had this chat today. So you are also going to have a little free gift for our listeners. We'll figure that out later, but people who want to follow Ivana, is it Ivana or Ivana?
Ivana.
Okay, Ivana. Just look for the speaker's information on the event page, and all of her links will be listed there, so you can follow her and find out more about what she's doing. And anything else you'd like to share with everyone today?
No, I just wanted to thank you for this beautiful opportunity interview. I hope it will inspire somebody. And also I want to say, people think, yes, I do have lots of followers, big following, and I'm very busy. But if anybody asks me any questions when it comes to tattooing or needs some advice or something, everybody can direct message me, and I can guarantee you I'm going to respond to you. So I'm really good with that. I really am. I don't care how many people or how many hours it takes me. I really do that. If somebody asks me any question regarding direct message on Instagram is the best, because I can just record it. I don't have to type it. But I'm really, really good about responding. So I would encourage people to contact me this way too, if they need anything. I'm always here. Really makes me so happy because I get inspired by them. I am inspired by their questions. I'm inspired by what they do and about their interests. So that is nice for me too.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for your appreciation. I'm really grateful that you took the time today too. And I love what you just said, because sometimes when somebody has a huge following, people just think they're going to be standoffish or too busy or whatever. And you were just wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up today. So hopefully we can talk soon.
We will.
All right. Awesome.
So much.
Bye-bye. To our listeners, your next interview will be delivered to your inbox. And don't forget, you have access for a full 7 days after each interview is released to listen. I look forward to joining you in our next session. Until then, be feisty, stay kind, and get creative.